The moment my husband called me useless and threw my savings into the trash, I knew something had to change, but what happened next left everyone speechless. Imagine building your life around someone, only to have them tear it apart in an instant. That's exactly what happened to Emma, a devoted wife and mother, when her husband gambled away their life savings and blamed her for his mistakes. Kicked out with nothing but the clothes on her back, Emma was left wondering how she'd survive. But little did her husband know, life had a shocking twist waiting for him. What happens next will leave you speechless. Stay tuned to discover how this story unfolds. Emma had always believed in the sanctity of marriage. To her, a husband and wife were supposed to be a team, weathering life's storms together. She and her husband, Mark, had spent 15 years building what she thought was a stable life. They weren't millionaires, but their savings of $500,000 represented years of sacrifice, hard work, and dreams of a secure future. However, everything changed one fateful day. Emma came home to find Mark visibly shaken. His words, "It's gone, all of it," felt like a knife to her chest. Confused, she demanded an explanation. Mark, in his desperation to strike it rich, had plunged their savings into risky stock investments and lost it all. Instead of admitting his mistake, he turned his anger toward Emma, accusing her of being unsupportive and selfish. The argument escalated, and Mark made a shocking decision. He ordered Emma to leave the house. "You've never believed in me, so why should I keep you here?" he spat, shoving her out the door. Emma stood in disbelief as the door slammed behind her. With nowhere to turn, Emma found herself alone in the cold, clutching her coat and fighting back tears. Friends and family were distant, and she had no immediate support. But even in her despair, Emma wasn't one to crumble. She vowed to fight back, not with vengeance but with resilience. What Mark didn't anticipate was Emma's ability to rise above the ashes. While he drowned in regret and self-pity, Emma began her journey of transformation. Armed with nothing but determination and resourcefulness, she set out to rebuild her life from scratch. In just a few months, Emma's story took a turn no one could have predicted. From a struggling woman with nothing, she became a beacon of hope and success. And when fate finally brought her and Mark face to face again, the tables had turned in a way he never imagined. This story isn't just about betrayal and loss. It's about redemption, empowerment, and the strength to overcome even the darkest moments. Stay with us to discover how Emma turned her tragedy into triumph and how her life became an inspiration for many. Standing on the doorstep with nothing but her handbag, Emma felt a storm of emotions: shock, betrayal, and fear. It wasn't just a financial loss that crushed her. It was the realization that the man she had trusted and built a life with had chosen to abandon her in her most vulnerable moment. Mark had slammed the door shut on their marriage, but Emma refused to let it shut on her future. At first, the challenges were overwhelming. With no access to their joint account, now drained, and no immediate family to turn to, Emma had to think fast. She spent her first night on a friend's couch, embarrassed but grateful. Over the next few days, she visited shelters and community centers, seeking advice and support. Each day was a battle. She was unfamiliar with asking for help, and swallowing her pride was a bitter pill. Emma's greatest challenge, however, was not logistical but emotional. Memories of her life with Mark played in her head on a loop. She remembered the late-night discussions about their dreams, the vacations they had saved for, and the future they had planned together. How could someone who had once vowed to protect her now discard her so easily? To make matters worse, Mark wasn't done. He began spreading rumors among mutual friends and colleagues, painting Emma as the villain. According to him, Emma's nagging and lack of support had driven him to make desperate financial decisions. It hurt Emma to hear people she considered friends question her integrity, but she refused to let their words define her. With limited resources, Emma took small, deliberate steps to regain control of her life. She reached out to a local nonprofit that helped women in crisis, where she met a counselor who gave her the guidance she desperately needed. The counselor encouraged Emma to focus on what she could control: her skills and her mindset. Emma realized she had a passion for interior design, a skill she had honed over the years while decorating their home. She decided to turn that passion into a business. Starting with nothing but her talent and a second-hand laptop gifted by a kind stranger, Emma began offering her services online. Her first clients were small, but their positive reviews gave her the confidence to keep going. Through it all, the doubt lingered. Was she capable of building a life on her own? Could she recover from the humiliation Mark had left her with? These questions kept her awake at night, but each morning she chose to rise and fight. Emma's journey to rebuild her life was far from easy, but with every step, she grew stronger and more determined. She realized that the skills she had once considered hobbies, her eye for detail, her knack for budgeting, and her ability to transform spaces, could become her ticket to independence. Her first breakthrough came when she landed a small project redesigning a local cafe. Though the payment was modest, Emma poured her heart into the job. She transformed the dull, outdated space into a warm and inviting atmosphere that drew in new customers. Word spread quickly about her talent. Soon, small businesses and homeowners were reaching out to her for advice and services. Emma worked tirelessly, often juggling multiple projects while still attending workshops and networking events to improve her skills. Despite her growing success, she faced moments of doubt. The lingering effects of Mark's betrayal weighed heavily on her. Each time she saw a happy couple or heard someone speak of their supportive partner, a pang of sadness hit her. But instead of wallowing, Emma channeled that pain into her work, creating spaces that brought joy and comfort to others. As her reputation grew, so did her business. She secured a contract with a local real estate firm to stage homes for sale. This partnership brought in steady income and allowed her to hire a small team. For the first time in months, Emma felt stability returning to her life. She moved into her own apartment, a modest but beautifully designed space that reflected her newfound independence. While Emma thrived professionally, Mark's life took a downward spiral. The risky stock investments he had made left him drowning in debt. The friends he had once impressed with his bravado now distanced themselves. Meanwhile, Mark couldn't escape Emma's success. Mutual acquaintances spoke highly of her achievements, and Mark's bitterness grew. One day, a chance encounter changed everything. Emma was attending a community event to promote her business when she spotted Mark in the crowd. He looked disheveled, a shadow of the man she once knew. Seeing Emma confidently addressing the audience only fueled his regret. Mark approached her after the event, seeking a conversation. "Emma," he began hesitantly, "I heard about everything you've done. I never thought—" He trailed off, struggling to find the right words. Emma listened calmly but made it clear that she was no longer the same woman he had pushed aside. "Mark," she said, "I've learned to stand on my own. I don't need your validation anymore." That moment was a turning point for Emma. It wasn't just about confronting Mark. It was about acknowledging her own strength and resilience. She had taken the worst situation of her life and turned it into an opportunity for growth. As Emma walked away from that conversation, she felt a sense of closure. Mark's actions had hurt her deeply, but they had also forced her to discover her true potential. Emma stood in the middle of a grand ballroom, surrounded by elegantly dressed individuals. She had been invited as a guest of honor for a prestigious entrepreneurship gala, where her company was being recognized as one of the fastest-growing businesses in the region. The journey to this moment had been anything but smooth, but as Emma looked out at the applauding crowd, she couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come. The night was filled with speeches and accolades, but it wasn't until Emma was asked to share her story that the evening took a dramatic turn. As she stepped onto the stage, a mix of emotions swirled within her: gratitude, pride, and a touch of nerves. She began recounting her journey, from the betrayal that had left her homeless to the first small project that reignited her hope. "I was left with nothing," Emma said, her voice steady but full of emotion. "No home, no money, and no support. But what I did have was a choice, to give up or to fight back. And I chose to fight." Her words resonated deeply with the audience, many of whom were entrepreneurs who had faced their own struggles. Emma's story of resilience and resourcefulness brought some to tears and inspired others to reflect on their own journeys. But as she concluded her speech, something unexpected happened. From the back of the room, a familiar figure approached the stage. It was Mark. His presence sent a ripple through the crowd, and a hush fell over the room. Emma's heart raced as Mark stepped closer, his expression a mix of regret and desperation. "I just want to say," Mark began, his voice shaky, "that I made the biggest mistake of my life when I let you go. Emma, I was wrong. I see that now. You're incredible, and He paused, searching for the right words. The room waited, anticipating Emma's response. Taking a deep breath, she addressed Mark directly, her voice calm but firm. "Mark, I've learned that forgiveness isn't about letting someone back into your life. It's about letting go of the power they hold over you. I forgive you, but I've moved on." Her words were met with thunderous applause. Mark, visibly humbled, stepped back into the crowd as Emma stood tall, her strength and dignity shining brighter than ever. Emma's encounter with Mark that night marked the final chapter of a painful but transformative journey. She had faced adversity, betrayal, and heartbreak, yet she had emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. As she left the gala that evening, Emma knew that her story wasn't just about survival. It was about thriving in the face of overwhelming odds. Over the next few years, Emma's business continued to flourish. She expanded her interior design company into a nationwide brand, helping thousands of clients transform their spaces. More importantly, Emma dedicated herself to giving back to the community that had once lifted her up when she had nothing. She launched a foundation aimed at supporting women facing crises similar to hers. The foundation offered financial assistance, career training, and emotional support, ensuring that no woman would feel as alone as Emma had once felt. Through her foundation, Emma became a beacon of hope, inspiring countless others to rebuild their lives and chase their dreams. But Emma's success wasn't measured by awards or accolades. It was measured by the lives she touched. Stories poured in from women who had found the strength to leave toxic relationships, start their own businesses, or simply believe in themselves again, all because of Emma's example. In one particularly touching moment, Emma received a letter from a young woman named Sarah, who had been inspired by Emma's story to leave an abusive relationship and pursue her passion for photography. "Your courage gave me the strength to find my own," Sarah wrote. "Thank you for showing me that it's never too late to start over." Emma kept that letter framed on her desk as a daily reminder of her purpose. As for Mark, his life took a different path. While he tried to rebuild his finances, he never quite regained the confidence or status he once flaunted. Occasionally, Emma heard through mutual acquaintances that he expressed regret over his choices, but she no longer dwelled on his actions. She had built a new life, one that no longer revolved around his approval or betrayal. Looking back, Emma realized that being kicked out with nothing had been a disguised blessing. It forced her to discover strengths she didn't know she had and to forge a future that was entirely her own. Her story became a testament to the power of resilience, proving that even in the darkest moments, hope and determination can light the way forward. If this story inspired you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to let us know you enjoyed it. Also, share your thoughts in the comments below. What would you have done in Emma's situation? And if you love hearing powerful stories like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you more incredible stories every day.